Welcome to another program of Conversation on Maldives, and today I have with me here a person who is very commonly seen among the islands of the Maldives and also a familiar person to the Maldivian community, and he is the UNICEF representative to the Maldives, Mr. Ken Maskall. Welcome to the program, and it's nice to have you here.
Pleasure to be with you.
You're a very busy person, I know that, and being in the Maldives for something like 2.5 years, close to 3 years, you're almost just about involved in a lot of social sectors, social areas of the Maldives, and just about every important area in the Maldives to some extent. Could you please tell us exactly how you really came to the Maldives?
Sure. I arrived in the Maldives in May 2005, some while after the tsunami of December 26, 2004. I came to the Maldives from Banda Aceh in Indonesia, having served for 4 months in the early recovery operations, so I had seen the impact of the tsunami probably at its worst. But UNICEF at that time was seeking to change the team and build a large recovery program operation for the Maldives, and I was appointed representative. And my first day on the job was with senior colleagues in government, meeting former President Bill Clinton at the Karumba Resort to take stock of the government's recovery operation and the contribution that the UN was going to make. So it was an incredible first day on the job.
That was your first day?
First day on the job, 28th, 29th of May 2005.
I see. I hope that your experience, even from the very first day onwards, has not really been bad. And then from that time, I don't think you have really put a full stop to what you really have done. So if you could really tell us how you have been involved and what are the major areas that you have been focusing on.
Sure. The first thing that we had to do was to make sure that we had a solid planning footing for what we wanted to do in the country, and that we had sufficient staff members to be able to carry things out, both international and national team. We had decided that we were trying to build on the successes of the earlier UNICEF programs. UNICEF has been in the Maldives for 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary year. So this was not suddenly a presence for UNICEF and suddenly a new operation. We wanted to build from the strengths of the past, and I think one of the key elements was strengthening the national primary education system and improving the quality of teaching and learning, child-friendly learning, it is commonly known. So that was a key priority. We realized there were a lot of losses of assets for water, sanitation, across all of the tsunami-impacted islands, but many islands also that hadn't really been served, so we were very keen to increase our efforts there. In the health sector, we knew that we had a persistent problem of malnutrition of children, and it was rather an anomaly in a country with such a middle-income status. So we decided to try and invest as much as we could to monitor very carefully early childhood feeding practices, the growth and development of children, and develop a national information system that would help us to track those kids that were suffering and provide remedial measures. So that was a key area. And the fourth area, which has become the mainstay of the next 3-year program, is in social protection, child protection for children disadvantaged, separated from families and parents, children in conflict with the law, children with addiction and drug problems and the like. So these were the 4 key areas that we decided to work on.
And in your area of education, I think we have come a long way, especially I'm sure with the UNICEF assistance, the child-friendly schools, it has expanded from first a 22 school project, and then now it's something like more than 100 schools. Actually assuming the child-friendly and schools, and you were very much involved in making sure that this really happened. I'm sure you personally visited some of the schools where this was. What do you think of the response of the teachers or even the community into transforming like a traditional classroom to a child-friendly classroom as we see it now?
I've been very encouraged by the reaction of parents and teachers, because they've recognized very, very quickly the very different pattern of learning and behavior that children exhibit after being through 1 grade year, 2 grade years of child-friendly learning environment. And basically, when we say child-friendly, we mean many, many things, but it's about enabling a child to discover the skills for learning, enabling children to sort of be more inquisitive, to conduct research, to ask questions, to reason why. rather than just to receive information passively. And as you said, you know, we started from a very modest pilot, a very important pilot series of programs. Now it's over 100 schools in the country that are at least 1, 2 or 3 grade years of child-friendly school adaptation. But there's a long agenda, and it's progressive realization. Again, it's something we'll come back to maybe. But that even extends ultimately in years to come into the manner in which secondary schools are conducted and the way in which children, students, parents and teachers participate in developing learning policy for the school and the type of learning
there was
that
at the very beginning, like, people were a little bit concerned about as to why should this really be started in the atolls.
Yeah.
And then I think at that particular time not much awareness most probably was done regarding that, the child friendly. But then now I think on their own as well, parents, we also met a lot of parents with UNICEF, other representatives as well, and I think the feedback is very good, and I think you must be encouraged by that as well.
Yes, I am. I mean, I think some of the most exciting pilot work and self-start initiatives have come well beyond Mali, from remote islands in the atolls up north and south and central in the country. I think with the recent addition of the teacher resource centres and the online learning environment, capacity of teachers to deliver child-friendly learning is rapidly growing. So we're going to see a very quick change, I think, over the next couple of years in how children are taught.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also would like to know, going from children to beyond the teachers, for example, I think UNICEF has really played a pivotal role in making sure the creation of the teacher resource centers, for example, in every atoll. And I think it was very recently, last year, towards the end of last year, that we saw the connection, or the program, especially.
That's right.
Yeah, how it was connected, and what exactly was it UNICEF thought?
Well, I mean, that took an enormous amount of planning. A lot of people were involved, from the Education Development Centre in the Ministry of Education, partners in Diragu who helped us with the technical kind of internet broadband relay. We had UNOPS doing the construction operations across 20 atolls. My staff in the education specialists developing curriculum, learning, teaching aids. It all came together at the end of November when we went live for the first time and had all 20 atolls, if you like, connected. But there are some very interesting things happening now with learning communities between atolls, with teachers sharing learning methods, teaching resources, video conferencing one another, lectures and classes being prepared on camera and then being podcast between the atolls. So one of the things that I love about the Maldives is the willingness and the speed with which people adopt technical innovation and put it to good use. And that really is one of the best examples I've seen.